That's why it's important to understand how many toddlers you can take in a fight, because if you don't understand that, you can be in these situations like I was in, and then you
That
really
seems
don't know how to
illegal,
approach it.
Caroline.
Seems
I don't know
definitely
if you should be
illegal.
admitting
It
to.
seems
We were live,
illegal.
you know.
But like the point is, like, it was them or me. And
I get that. No,
I
it's
can't.
self-defense.
Self-defense.
I can't. Like,
I'm a strong proponent of self-defense.
Ultimately, like, when we played Mass Effect, I was like, I understand why they did what they did. Like, it's you or me. I actually did understand.
No, but we understand when you're thinking about Mass Effect. We understand who you're sided with. We get that.
I'm an asshole. Rob and I got into a massive fight over that. I was like, no, but like, I'm on the bad side. I'm like, I get why they did it. You're in a war. Like, as soon as you're in a war, and it's like, you don't do that, and you don't do that. It's like, if your whole species is going to go extinct, you do what you got to do.
No.
Fix it later, for sure. Sure. Like, if it's you or me, like, the whole species, all right, I fucked up your birth rates. I'm okay. Sorry.
I mean,
anyway,
this is a whole nother conversation we need to have about Starship Troopers. And about Mass Effect, because those two
and Ender's Game.
And Ender's Game. Oh, well, I mean, the ethics of Ender's Game are extremely complicated.
In the very end, when it's just like,
oh right, yeah, right. We're not going to spoil Ender's Game for anybody.
Spoil. It's only 35 years.
Orson Scott Card is a piece of shit.
Oh, he's a total piece of shit.
And I've already bought that entire series, so I'm upset that
books.
I didn't.
But he's a
but Ender's Game and Speaker for the Damned are so incredibly different. Like, why make them part of the same? Like, you could have simply made Ender's Game and then made the rest of the series divorced from Ender's Game. Like, there's no. The fact that it's Ender doesn't matter. He's a completely different person, completely different plotting, completely different storytelling.
Without that delicious childhood trauma, would he be the same?
Ender's Game is the best book of them, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's clear that he was trying to do a Dune to Children of Dune to Dune Messiah, and it doesn't work.
I did not read any of those. So I've not read Dune.
Dune is great. And then you realize Dune is the first chapter of a preface that doesn't really start until you get to Dune Messiah. And then you read Dune Messiah and you're like, holy shit. But I'm not going to tell someone, it doesn't get good until Dune Messiah. Like, everybody's problems with Dune, I'm like, yeah, I totally get it. And the author gets it too. Hence the reason why he writes 8 other books.
I was watching it. It's funny because I was watching it and I'm just like, they are really, really trying to get the most to be like, don't worry, Zendaya's in the next one. She's in it. Don't worry. She's definitely in it. She's going to be in it.
Yeah.
Don't watch this one. They put as many dream shots.
Tyson is leaning way. Just like,
Tyson.
My whole species. That's fine at this point.
Yeah. And it's funny to watch Dune as a person who did not read Dune and has not at all been exposed to Dune, because every time. The most massive thing that I think I've engaged in has, I guess, Harry Potter and the Dark Tower series. I don't know. I feel like the Dark Tower series feels heavier than Harry Potter, both because it is more bonkers than Harry Potter, but also because of the amount of pre-reading you need to do to understand the characters. Like, you need to read like a bunch, like Salem's Lot, and like just a bunch of stuff to understand enough to get the most out of. So like, I went on a King thing for a few years, right?
Yeah, sure.
And it ended with the Dark Tower series, including through the keyhole or whatever. There was like an extra book that they added. He added later.
Yeah. I struggle so much with King. I think King's plots are great. I think King's prose is like, I just can't. And the Dark Tower is one of those examples where I'm like, I tried to read the Dark Tower so many times. I can enjoy The Stand.
Really?
It's so gross.
Why?
It's just, I find it almost baroque the way he writes it, right? There's so many words in it that
I'm trying to remember now. Like, he's not George R.R. Martin. Like, it's not.
No.
I did not get that impression. Like, I'm trying to understand. As someone who's read so much of it, I never recall being like, this is so crazy. Like, I never felt that way.
I just don't enjoy the way that he writes. I just don't
enjoy. Is like the best line that's ever been written. Data check. The lobster things that like will eat you on the beach. They couldn't just walk away from the fucking beach.
No.
Like, the whole second book, it's amazing. They're stuck on this beach and they're just like, we're gonna get eaten by these lobsters.
And I guess there are so many times where I read this book and I have to set it down and I'm like, there's no one who's ever going to say no to Stephen King. So he can just write whatever the fuck he wants to write. You know, there are so many moments in Stephen King novels where I'm like, if this was trying to be published today, there's no way this would be published.
Oh, he would not have gotten away with that if it were not for the extensive library. That was his Iliad. That was his magnum opus, you know, like, and very much with that, it was like, it's for fans. It's for people who know what this is and care about me as a writer and want to hear about what's in my head. And his publisher was like, fine. Like that was it. Because it was a King thing, you know? And I mean, it's a self-insert fucking published, it's a fan fiction that is published.
It feels slash fiction, not even fan fiction. It feels like slash fiction without the slash part, which is what I don't like about it.
But I like slash fiction.
I love slash fiction. I love slash fiction, and that's what I'm upset about.
And it doesn't have slash.
There's a slash to it. There's no slash.
So I don't know. Yeah. But you know what I have to say in this moment, when you talk about like writing you don't like or prose, yet Die Hard Man, fine.
You know what? I was going to say, it was like, she's going to bring up Kojima.
How could I not? How could I not?
The moment you were talking about the beach, I was like,
you can't. Stephen King, no. Death Stranding, fuck yes. Excuse me. And I've never debated. I would like this on the record for our viewer, is that I have never begrudged you enjoying the gameplay. Okay. I simply begrudge the defense of the story because the story is ass. The story makes Stephen King look like Darwin. Like no, absolutely not.
I mean, we could run back the tape and just listen to you smack talking the gameplay too. But that's okay. I'm down for it.
I didn't say I liked the gameplay or that the gameplay was good. I don't begrudge you.
No, she
what I'm saying is I understand the same way I don't play Animal Crossing, but I get it. You know, I get it. But you cannot defend that story.
Caroline, I will never tell a person that Hideo Kojima's plots or dialogue or stories make sense.
Feels like that's what you
believe, though. But I enjoy them. And I understand what you're saying in terms of King and Kojima. I guess for the difference I would make is I feel like King writes really sloppy, and I feel like this is a gross exaggeration, but I'll make it. Stephen King reminds me a lot of Jeff Tweedy and Wilco, where when they were on drugs, they did really weird stuff that at the time was cool, and the more you listen to it, you're like, I don't really get this anymore. And the moment they were off drugs, it got really soft and bloated and boring, and it makes you question, why did they ever like this? I still think The Stand is really great. I think his short stories are really, really wonderful. I think his plots, I think that's the reason why his movies are so good, because the plots are great, right? And I think that's the thing about Stephen King, is I think Stephen King is a really, really great storyteller. I just think when you take a book that's 700 pages and I am tearing my hair up being like, I do not understand why this book is so big unless he's being paid by the word. Right? It feels
you really cut him down a lot too if you're talking about the Dark Tower. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I was excited about the movie too, because like with the Dark Tower series, the whole 19 thing.
Yeah.
With the movie came out, it showed the horn. Which, if you remember, I'm not going to give backstory, but basically what it means is it was technically supposed to be a sequel Like that was the hint. That was what it looked like. Was that? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Fair.
Anyone, not just artists. He prefers
anybody.
His preferred state.
Why
of
we get
being.
along?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say that. So
I'm gonna try and go get some drugs this weekend. Actually, some legal drugs this weekend. I'll finally have some time.
Both of you, so hard. Then again, I moved here. This is my choice. I did this to myself. I moved from New Jersey. God.
New Jersey.
My hair's annoying me.
Oh boy.
But it was supposed to be like the 20th time. It was supposed to be not 19. It was supposed to be the next cyclical thing. And theoretically, he could potentially have broken out of it. But then the movie was just a shitty telling of the first couple books. Like, God damn it.
I think that movie suffers because I feel like when they originally pitched it, it was going to be a TV show. And they were going to have like, all this sort of tie-in. They were going to make it a really big scope. And I thought it was like, that's the way to do it. And then when I heard like, no, they can't, like there's not enough budget. There's not enough people. It's also really hard to think about how do you take all this IP, who owns it, who does different stuff with it. And they're like, great, we'll just make it a movie. And I was like, no, this is not going to work as a movie. Like,
what do you mean from an IP standpoint? What do you mean?
Like, I can't, who put out
his estate owns the whole thing, right?
I have no idea.
I don't think have individual book rights been sold or individual like character rights?
I almost want to say yes. Maybe I'm wrong. So that's Sony. So who knows?
So you mean like because they made The Stand, the show or whatever, the like fucking TNT limited run series from the 90s, which you can watch on YouTube, by the way, all 3 hours of it or whatever it is. I don't know, maybe it's 4
Dark Tower was owned by Sony. It is owned by Warner Brothers. Like, I think there's IP stuff in terms of like, well, how are they going to get Pennywise?
You can just pick and choose kind of the elements. Like, okay, like does Flag needs to be in it. So that's the biggest thing because they've obviously someone made something with Flag, like in The Stand, right? That's literally the same character, but all the other characters of significance are new to that story. You don't have to have it. You don't have to reference that at all. You know what I mean? Like the ones you would have to reference would be Hearts in Atlantis, theoretically, but even then you don't have to. Like, you can make it a different character, but like ideally it would be like Hearts in Atlantis, it would be Salem's Lot, it would be and the big one would be The Stand. You have to have him because you have to have Flag. But otherwise, and I don't remember, was he Flag was it Randall Flag?
I don't remember.
It's always RF, but I don't remember. It's a different one in each story. So I don't remember what it is. That one, like he is a crucial character. I also thought Matthew McConaughey was a bad cast on that. Not that I think he's a bad actor. It's never what I pictured. Like maybe because of The Stand, I always pictured a guy kind of like that, where he's kind of big and kind of like country, and I don't know. And McConaughey just wasn't that.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing is it's like there's also something where it's like this should have been a movie with nobodies, right? Like this should have been one of those things where it's like let's get a bunch of people who've never been.
It's fair, Tyson.
Yeah, very fair. Yeah,
that's my current mental state. It's fine.
There you go.
I know enough about the Dark Tower and stuff.
Kellen and I are just talking about some shit nobody knows anything else about.
And I'm just sitting getting drunk, and it's perfect.
We're talking about the Bark Tower, right?
Yes.
The dog, like the. You said Bark Tower?
Yes.
The comic book.
Yeah.
Bark Tower.
Yeah, it's Korean.
Not this again.
Oh boy.
That's still one of the most bizarre.
It's absolutely fascinating. It's still so good. It's still so incredible.
Best thing
that's ever happened in my life.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. And the fact that it's recorded is also absolutely amazing.
I know. Oh my God.
Just I could still feel all the blood leaving my face, just like
I still just be like,
I think it was going into Caroline because she was just like,
about this, God damn it! But how did you?
So good.
The closest I've come to real spirituality is that there is an online comic, and you are the reason I read the online comic and the fact that I knew that it was better, like you said it would be, and it vastly deviated from the show, like you said it would, and it
is the parallels, the fact that all of this stuff lined up, the fact
vaguely,
that
Tyson.
vaguely, but again, like there's still, it's like, oh, that's interesting, like all of those things being there, and then our paths diverge.
Korea's cranking out. They're moving on to dramas. It's interesting. I was thinking about that because like I'm thinking some of the like more super, like a lot of Korean shows are picking up, especially like on Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm certainly getting a ton of them recommended to me, but I also watch that type of like I love the horror. Korean horror has been really interesting for a while now, and but I just think about I've been wondering if that's like another, if it's like I would be like K-pop 3.0 because like there's K-pop, which is a government sponsored effort to build soft power globally. If you didn't know that, and then it was dramas. I don't know for a fact that dramas are sponsored the same way, but they are culturally hugely important, including in other places. So like, it's one of the things of contraband that like people in North Korea will literally try and like, they will risk their fucking lives to get dramas, to get K-dramas. Are you actually kidding me? Because I've heard multiple accounts from people who have escaped and saying like, this was an example of stuff that we got, and like dramas were a big one that people would sneak in and like literally it could get you killed. Insanity. But also China, really, really huge in China. So the idea of these like highly produced shows, I'm suddenly seeing in the same places where I see K-pop news, I'm seeing news about like the actors in Squid Game. So because like the have you guys watched that? Did everybody watch that? I assumed I'm later than everyone.
I did not watch Squid Game. I'm still sort of.
It's great. It's I thought it was fantastic. The very, very, very end. They're gonna do a second season, and it's kind of getting into this meta thing, and like the meta isn't interesting the same way. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like Battle Royale when the sequel comes out and you're like, what?
it kind of feels like Westworld. Like I love Westworld, and the second season of Westworld is interesting because they're like, it's not like Westworld 2. It's like every season of Westworld is a different aspect of this larger world.
I haven't seen season 2. I watched season 1 and I was like, okay, this is cool. I get it. You know.
Yeah. Season 2, I think, sets up a lot of what they're trying to do in season 3, and season 3 just blows the top of everything. And then they're also being like, cool, now we're going to take a 10-year break in the plot. And what is going to happen? I think season 2 is, and this is a tough thing to say, season 2 upon second viewing is masterful. Season 2 on the first viewing, you're like, what is going on? It feels like Tenet, where you're like, wait, what is happening here? And then it clicks and you're like, oh, I get it. It's almost too clever for its own good, but I liked it. So
I didn't watch Tenet. I watched the Found Flicks guy. I watched his review of Tenet where he just goes through what happens and like what he thinks of each part. Even listening to him talk about Tenet was overwhelming. No. Anytime where it's like this way, and then when you turn around, like in Harry Potter at the end, where it's like, I gave a teenage girl the ability to fuck up time. Like that scene where it's like, that was actually you, and you went to but then also you have to move backwards I don't know. No, absolutely not. No, I don't want any of it.
I thought it was enjoyable. It was good.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was weird.
It
was definitely weird. But
at some point I might watch it. I don't know. Squid Game is exactly up my alley though. Like, so like, the basic, like without spoiling, like, know, the basic concept, right? Is like guys really poor.
Capitalism bad.
Guy poor and guy gets scouted for these games and they're not given a name. But Squid Game, that, it's basically not Battle Royale, but kind of, it's like the Hunger Games kind of, right? Except you choose to join it or not. And there's like hundreds of people. And all the games are different. Nobody knows that, what's going to happen when you get there. They're just like, oh, I'm going to play a game. Like they don't know the stakes which is already insanity. If somebody came up to you and was like, or if you showed up and they were like, oh yeah, play these games. And if you're not eliminated, you'll win shit tons of money is the first thing you say. Not going to be, if I lose, will you kill me? Like that's not, how's that not the first thing? Have you not been conditioned properly? Yeah. They lean into the capitalism bit really hard, but like, it's a really good character-driven thing that doesn't try to tell, like there is a cop subplot about the whole organization, but even that is personally driven and very much an individual story. And nothing about it wouldn't be self-contained. So when the ending happens and, the game's complete and they go, and then it's kind of like there's some person, like it's following these individual people you get very close to. And then in the very end, they try and make it like oh no, I gotta take down the games. It's like, no, come on. No. Like the point is this will happen. One person can't. That should be part of it. Like, and maybe that's what season 2 will be about. I don't know. But I find it so almost more fascinating. Like I love stories where the whole point, each episode is just a micro view that gives you collectively a sense of a macro experience.
Yeah.
That I think is so fucking cool. So the idea that they're going to turn it, like the reality, you wouldn't, especially the more you go, like you find out the games are like this isn't really spoilers, like in any significant way. The games are backed by a bunch of rich dudes who are like bored. It's voyeurism. That's it. They're betting, like they show up and they're like betting on who's going to die. And they're talking about it super trivially as though they're at the casino, and that's.
And I guess that's the point that I like when I saw that aspect, I was like, no, I'm good. Because I would want that to be season 3. Like if they were really doing this, season 1 would just be, you would have no idea why this is happening.
It's important to the plot at the end. It has a significant tie-in to a major thing that happens at the end.
Okay. I guess
a major reveal at the end.
I guess I would rather have it be like Black Mirror, where it's like, no, you can't take the Squid Games down because they will always happen. And then the next season, it would be cool. It's Squid Games 1963, right? Like what is the Squid Games in the year represent? Like this idea of like, oh, we think it's happening now. It's like, no, the Squid Games have always been going on. Like,
yeah, the only problem that would be a different type of story than what this is, because it still is very much a commentary on capitalism.
And capitalism is only happening today. That's the interesting thing about it. It's only been a problem now. It's only been a problem right now. Capitalism for as long as it's been, there's never been a problem. It's only finally last year been a problem.
I think it would be a repetitive story. There wouldn't be a new thing to tell you. Just like it also sucked in the 50s. Like it wouldn't. I don't think that would be artistically. It would be a.
I think if I could push back on that, I think that there is a way you could tell different stories.
I'm not taking male opinions today.
Oh,
wow.
Sheesh. I'm kidding.
I'm queer. Does that change anything? I mean, I guess.
Hey, we talked about this and how much you lean into the penis side of things, and I think both of you said like a 2. So I like, how queer do we define that? As I'm outing you on national.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I guess for me,
I took that to mean pretty much not. Like I would consider myself like a 2, and that's like, yeah, I'll make out with a chick, or like I don't know if it's feeling whatever. But
are we talking about the Kinsey stuff, or when you're saying a 2?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm right in the middle. I'm right in the middle in terms of that. But my queerness is more on the gendered side in terms of I don't identify as a. My gender is sort of fluid in terms of moment to moment.
I should have considered that. Apologies.
Yeah. But of course, like I mean, well, I just like kissing people as long as I can emotionally connect with them. It's the body and the parts and the shape and the size and the color.
The parts sometimes matter to me. That's because it just
sometimes you want
a certain. Weird. I'm just not.
It's fair.
I think that's fair.
Great.
That's
It's
fair.
not great. It's not providing a lot of value for me.
Well,
So, it's just not my thing.
if it's not your thing, that's totally fine. I look at it in the sense where if I'm attracted and attached to the person, their parts then become more interesting to me.
I can see that. Yeah,
Sure.
I can see that.
It's the same way. It's like, I think in my college years, I would have people be flirting with me and I would be oblivious to it. And people would be like, this person is super into you. And I was like, I have no emotional or intellectual connection to them.
So we're all just doing that?
Yeah, I think so.
Based on previous conversations?
I think so. I think that's all of us. I think it's like, oh, wow. But well,
no, I would say it depends on what it is. Mm-hmm. I'm hyper anxious about like when I'm, like I'm the one reading stuff, So if someone's like, people are nice to me, I'm immediately like,
why are they nice? What's going on?
What are you after? Do you work for the CIA?
Right. Like, is this like a bet? Is this she's all that? Like, is it?
Am I being she's all that?
Am I being punked? So I would be aware, but it would not be like or I'd just be anxious the whole time. So maybe I'm on the opposite end. Maybe I'm like hyper aware, but there are the things where like the social norms of it, I wouldn't get. So like they invited you over at 8 p.m. for coffee. Like, especially if I was in college, I would just be like, that's weird. I'm not going to drink coffee like that. So that TikTok, sorry, we're talking about TikTok now. The one where it's like, did you know when someone asks you for coffee, you don't have to drink coffee? That we're getting into my existential crisis over whether or not I might be a little bit autistic. That I'm fine. I understand that.
Yes.
Like, obviously I don't have to drink fucking coffee. Like, just because no, I won't.
Years ago, I would have because I'll drink coffee.
Right, so I won't do that. So I'm not Brad. I'm not at Brad level. But
that's good. That's fair. That's a good thing.
But like, on the other hand, when it was like that means sex, like I would be like, maybe it's just hanging out. Are you sure? What if they just like it? In college, adults do all kinds of shit. Yeah. How am I supposed to can you just say the thing? Like, so like that, it's the subversive. So like I've talked about this before, like I work in advertising. And so there are account folk at every job that I go to and I cannot speak account. And I think they started to realize I deeply disappointed the head of the account lead for like one of my major clients just because he wanted to see more from me. And I 100% did not. He would go into meetings and be like, yeah, I just, I really think it would be great if, we want to take things a little bit, further. So we want to come together and by come together, he meant, I want you to do this. And I did not understand that at all. And part of it, I got a little, I got defensive and I was like, in that moment, I maintained it and I was just like, okay. I was like, so you want me to do what? I think I've asked him specifically. And this is like the third or fourth meeting. I kept thinking other people. I was waiting for stuff. I thought it was like a collab. I was taking him at his word. And he was doing that thing where he's like, I say we, but I mean you. Which is, on the one hand, I was like, for a while, I was like, God, I wish account people could. But then I was like, but this is your job. And you should also kind of know how to do this at this point, and he's working in the way he knows how to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it works for him. He's using a lexicon and a language that works for
everyone around him understands. And so I'm the odd man out here. I'm the person who's struggling to communicate in this way, but it's also I hate disappointing people. I hate it. And it's my fucking MO is I show up at a job and people hate me. And then I work my way back over years. I swear to God, I did that this job. I did that the last job.
Caroline, I cannot.
No, it's true.
I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine that.
No, I will pull in witnesses. It was bad. Because when I joined.
Do you need the link? We could get them in here.
It was at my last, now I'm going to talk about this. At my last job, It was, but if we want to talk about something else, I can also not talk
No.
about
Do
I
we
just-
have
I
a
feel like
plan?
I'm talking
I've got
too
a wet. All I have is I have Reddit pulled up with some questions we could maybe get into
Oh.
later. but
I
this
have a
is-
quiz I could put you through head-to-head.
I have.
Did
Did I send you? Now I'm becoming less sober as time goes on. So I'm gonna get less coherent. So I apologize in advance. Did I send the two of you or did you send? I don't know. There's the TikTok about if she was drunk. That one. Did I send you that one?
Well, remember
Okay.
it. If you did, I'm not sure.
Put a pin in it. I'll find
Okay.
it if we come back to it. It's amazing. She sings it as she's like, and what if she was drunk the whole time? And it's like a duet with like someone else in it who has lyrics, and she sings them, which are already wacky lyrics, as though she's drunk. It is so funny. And I just have that in my head all week. It's been my whole scenario. So we can come back to that. Anyway, no proof. Okay. So the last job I was at, I joined them in 2013, and a job. So in the analytics, it's like analyst, senior analyst, manager, associate director, director. There was no associate director on the team. There were a bunch of managers that reported into a director or a senior associate director, something. And so they created an associate director position between the managers and the director. They created this position. There were managers. They hired me. So I'm managing people who were overlooked when this position was made.
That's awkward.
Who are both older than me. Not by a lot. But that was the first time that had ever happened to me. And I don't know. So, and it was also a toxic work environment, especially in the beginning. But it drastically improved as my relationship with people improved. But like, I remember getting, like, there were so many, first of all, I was also coming up on, there's some real characters on that team. And one of them decided I was his enemy. He was literally like a senior analyst and he just hated me. I don't know. Like, I think he kind of had his hackles up. He was like a young, ambitious guy, really trying to like do some shit. And now someone new came in. So like I made a bunch of bad decisions. The whole thing was shit. By the time I left, I had an incredibly deep and positive relationship with everyone who was on that team. And that doesn't mean everyone who started. There were people who just left and we never got there. But I was very sad when our client fired us because I was 100% on that client. And I was very sad. We had an amazing team that did a lot of really good stuff. It was it ended up being good for me. I love my job at Voss, but
what is the client? I know you probably can't say the client's name. What does the client's name rhyme with?
I think I can say it. It's a matter of public record. The client was AT&T.
I've heard of AT&T. That is
I've heard of that company.
Telecommunication company here in the United States, I believe.
Yes, which seems to be broadly defined now. They all do everything. Yeah. So it's kind of funny. So they moved from MEC, which is now Wavemaker, which was my previous company, to Hearts and Science, which was a newly built Omnicom company, which newly built meaning like put together for pitching AT&T. And they pitched on it, and they won them, and they won AT&T and P&G at this at the launch. Like, but imagine how awful that must have been.
I was going to say, it was like, oh my God.
They formed a new agency, and we're like, you get two of the largest clients in the U.S. Good luck.
No pressure. Have fun.
No pressure, new employee. Onboarding, ramp? No.
Ramp up, right. And like none of the existing team, very few people moved. So it's not like they just, sometimes a client leaves and like all the people just go to the new place, because the client usually has, a lot of times clients all have good relationships with the actual people they're working with, but they just want better rates, or they just want, So like usually
it's never about the people; it's about the rate. And if you
sometimes
give
it's
the
about
client,
people. Sometimes it's about the people. Like sometimes the creative isn't creative, so you've got like that's a people problem. Or like literally, if they're like media plans are bad, like the media plan for it's just the list of we're going to be on this network and we're going to be here and we're going to run these digital ads here. Like that's all a media plan is. It's just a plan for where the media goes.
Imagine that.
But it's not.
Media don't have plans. That's crazy.
No, they don't have plans, Brad. I can see how you got confused. But that was, I was really bummed when I left. And then when I joined.
We do have some questions, Tyson. We do have some questions, I guess.
Possibly. Sorry, it took me like a solid 30 seconds to like process and read that. So I apologize.
This is just the preamp. This is, I mean, Tyson, you said you wanted this to come in hot. This is hot.
Came in as hot as I could think of in the moment. And when I joined this team, it was like a complete. It was a complete.
Do not apologize.
Boys
Do not
club.
apologize.
It was a complete boys club.
Imagine that in marketing, in advertising.
No, and most of every research or analytics team I have been on until when I joined this team, because guess the fuck what? Under my regime, onto every other team. The MEC team was pretty even, but every research and analytics team I was on before that was predominantly female or entirely female. Which is probably because I got more and more analytics as time went on. But it's also about like the leaders, right? So like when I joined the managing director I joined for a specific client. And as a day-to-day like owner of that client, basically. And then 6 months later, the guy that hired me, and these are all like his people, like, so it's mostly guys. The guy that hired me is calls me. He's not even in the office. Calls me from outside the office. And is like, I'm going to take a position on the global team. Bye. So he's like, you can lead analytics out of New York. And I was like, okay, sure. Because like when I came in initially, I was just on a specific client. So it was less of a thing. And then like 6 months later, I'm everyone's boss, theoretically. But like, I'm not on their stuff and I don't push it. But like, I think it was a combination of like, he had run that team and he was this also, whenever I am replacing someone, I'm always replacing like everyone's favorite person they've ever worked with. That has happened to me at every job. Either it's a brand new position. My first job was a brand new position because of a location change. My second job, I was replacing someone everyone loved. My third job, I replaced someone everyone loved. My fourth job, it was a brand new position that they didn't raise anyone for. And in this job, by taking over for my boss, I replaced someone everyone loved.
Wow.
And it's so shitty. What is going on? It is the worst because like and a lot of the time the people might have been like fine at their job, but it was mostly like they were charismatic. Like, like my old boss, when I was hired, he was like known as this guy who could also be account. Like that was the joke, was like, oh, he could be like an account guy, but he's in analytics, so that's even better. And I'm like, yeah, great.
I'm not gonna do that.
I can't do that. It's not even that I would. You think I wouldn't? I would do that if it would make this easier. But yeah, so I had people move to different. One guy put in his notice, and I think that made sense. I think he was also pretty bitter and toxic by the end. When I was like, you don't seem happy. So I think, and I think it was good. And he he did tell me in a respectful way. He was a very nice guy, but he was like huge Chad in like the worst way.
Nice.
And so I had some very tense conversations, but then he would always be like, I don't want it to be like that. Hey, it's fine. We're fine, right? Like he's a nice guy.
Someone like that get into analytics, I guess.
Shocking. Get into advertising.
Yeah.
There was a guy who I did directly manage who our personalities were just really different. I was still very like, how would I describe this? You ever done like the color-based personality test where they're like, it's like the same as, it's like along the lines of like a DISC assessment.
I literally have on my desk at my Canadian company, this is the same fucking shit.
So is that the one where it's like emotional versus logical? And then like, I forget what the other one was. I'm like a hard red. Like I am D. So what that means, Tyson, is that I'm direct. I will tell it, what is the quickest way to say it? Like, and I will tell you immediately. I call it radical transparency. I tell my team everything. I don't care. Like so that's where I am. Like I can't, I will be outgoing with you, but I will also be incredibly fucking weird. Like, and so it's just, I don't mesh with the people.
I don't know what that's like at all. I get along with everybody just fine.
I get the impression
no personality problems at all.
But if you've been in, so imagine if like, because also again, I'm a woman. Several of these guys are older than me, like by a good amount. But yeah, I would say the guy that was on my team, he and I are just, I speak very directly. And he, I think took a lot, I think I was offending him. He was, I think it was like, and he, for at least in the beginning, like he definitely retained it. And kind of, he never blew up at me or like did anything like, cause he was also kind of like the Chad guy. He was also incredibly like, he was like Southern in like that. He really likes the, like, let's just, come on, can we just be cool? Like Shep kind of from Southern Charm. Like that's how I describe that. Like he really wants things to be amicable because that's the, that's what we do. Like we don't have to, he's the Southern version of the Chad guy, actually, the more I think about it. It's kind of the same thing. Like, but then like, so he also never really helped, like he would never like, but I think I would be like, hey, where is this? There's like a lot of things about the way people work that I didn't know and also didn't align with what I would do. Like everybody was saving shit in Google and like all these, and I'm just like, do you not have a share drive? This is client data. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like no one was using the share drive. Like I was like, hi? And so even the way everyone worked was totally different. I have no resources except this guy who's on my team. So I'm asking him 1,000 questions and I ask it in a way that is very blunt. So to him, there's a level of expectation associated with that because I'm saying, hey, where's there should be a placement naming nomenclature document. I don't know what these fields are or like what this means. Do we have that? I just spoke Greek to him. He doesn't know what that is, but he feels challenged or not. He feels like I'm like, where is it? Like have an answer. And I'm just, I'm confused because I had to start realizing I had to qualify what I was saying to him. Like, if you don't know, that's fine. Or I'd have to, like, that's fine. I'm just asking in case you do. And instead of saying like, where is this? Like by chance, like, do you guys have this that you're aware of? Like I have to add those things.
Because the little boy has a hard time with the woman telling him what to do.
I think
he's so
it's
scared.
Like, yeah, I don't
he's so scared because the woman
be like that. Maybe just because we were together, and like he's not a bad guy. It's just but there were a lot of things related to him, and we tried. we didn't mesh, and I think I upset him, and then in turn, I felt like I kind of like was getting like that anger, bitter attitude and stuff. And
I mean, Carolyn,
it's just a bad. And he moved on. And
excuse me.
No. I was like, I definitely never spoke spoken to him again. Like, we knew what the deal was. It was fine. It's totally fine. But yeah, so like that was never that great. And then there was another guy, also older, who did like wasn't ever super amicable. Like really went to like, hey,
all
how
these
you
qualifications,
doing? That's so great, like super amicable. But like in the in like the month past my boss leaving and just kind of telling everyone on the way out, okay, Caroline's in charge. But I was starting to have like those transition meetings where it's like, okay, I saw us do this monthly meeting. This is usually the point of this. I'm gonna take it over. Cool. I take it over. It's a meeting. It's again, I've been here like 6 months. This is awkward. And like this guy, this third guy I'm talking about, this is guy number 3. And he shows up late, walks in as I'm talking to people now that it's like, okay, I guess he can't make it. Walks in and then I guess like finds a quick pause before he's even sat down, is like, oh, by the way, I'm going to be working from home every Wednesday going forward. I cleared it with old boss before separately. And I'm just in front of the whole team while I'm trying to talk, like not aggressively like talking over me, but like there was a natural pause and he's like, oh, hey, like that. But like he did it really fast. And it just came on like, all right, let's talk. Guy walks in, disrupts everyone. What's going on? Okay, he's late, which is in itself a soft power move. Like you know what I mean? Or like it's one of those things. It's not really that, but he's wielding power against me and doing this. And of course, this is the sort of shit that if you say it, you get called a crazy woman. Yeah. So I have to just I can't say, you're trying to like, you're doing these things manipulatively. I have to assume positive intent. And I don't know him well enough to I don't know that I know him well enough now, because I know that he can be really nice and also like do shitty things. So I check with boss, who still works at the company. He's just not part of the team nor I have his email. Like, I'm like, hey, did guy number 3, he told me he got permission for me. I wanted to check that with you. I don't, if you don't have any concerns, then it's whatever for me. Like, I don't care where people work. And he responds with, oh, absolutely not. I did not give him that. So he's like, he's also kind of like a lot of talk, old boss. Yeah. Old boss is like very much like he'll say that and then just be chummy with them in person. Yeah. It's like, so what are you doing? Like, but I just didn't see it. We really didn't overlap that long. But so I have to do the thing where it's like the next day, guy number 3, hey, can you come talk to me? And I have to go into a fucking room and be like, hey, so you did that. And he's immediately like, I work harder than I'm like, I understand that. I understand. I believe you. I believe you. Here's the thing. You said this and he told me it's not true. I need you to see this from my perspective. And also like you were late to the meeting, you walk in, you interrupt me. And I say these things as factual things that have happened. And he's like, I was just this, and it's very much like I feel it, he's not like being aggravated at me, like trying to cut me. He's very much seems genuinely like, are you kidding me about it? And I'm like, I have to be as placating as possible because this is already the shittiest thing ever. So I'm just like, hey, I'm trying to keep, I'm telling you that this is, that's what frustrated me. And I have to be like, and like handle him. And like, so that's that. And then he ends up moving. He still works in the company and he moved to his whole team got like moved over to a different agency because all those clients moved over. So him and one other person went that way. Guy number 1, the Chad, he quit. Guy number 2 under me ended up quitting. And the guy number 4 is great and still works with me. and I like him a lot. And he's like also like 7 years older than me, and he's super chill, and we work great together, and I love him. So like, awesome. Like, but like, it's the joke that I always give is like, so he was great. I hired someone else that I like. Boss is gone. All the other guys are gone. Everyone else is mine now. So it's like I share that meme. I always end up sharing that meme, which is like, the time of men is done, or whatever, from Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
Basically what happened. Like, I haven't only hired men or women, but the men I have been hired to like another team. They really don't report to me. And the one guy who's consistently been here is the guy that stayed, guy number 4.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome. So yeah, I don't know, but it's like, back to why I sent emails right before this we went on the air, is because I am now 5 years in, actually like probably doing things pretty well. I'm getting emails from people of importance for things that we've never normally gotten that level of involvement. So that's it's like, no, I finally made my way back around. I showed up, everyone hated me. I didn't know who to talk to about anything. The team shrunk to nobody, and I did that for like a few years. And maybe in the last year or two, I might have come. I think I am. It's a struggle. Sometimes the asking for permission versus forgiveness. Like I think about that, or like, you know, you can always fix it later. But like maybe ask for permission. Sometimes asking for forgiveness sucks.
I mean, Carolyn, I relate to what you're experiencing in my current role. I work in a company filled with Canadians, people from Ontario, people from Montreal.
Just terrible, those people.
They can be quite passive aggressive. And there's a lot of that I have had to learn in terms of when I'm like, you are asking me to do something, but you can't say those words. And you're expecting me to understand your language. And I get to just play dumb and be like, you never directly asked me to do this. You used a lot of language around it, but there was never
a moment. Are you a contractor, by the way?
I'm not a contractor. No. But
you sound like a contractor.
Well, and that's the interesting thing is there's a lot of, I learned that lesson from some other people who are contractors who are essentially consultants, where I'm like, but you never asked me to do this thing. And our SOW says X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So it's one of those things where I've been able to sort of like talk with people about like, hey, if you need something from me, I need you to be very direct. Because in my culture, where I come from, we use radical candor. So if you need something from me, I need you to tell me directly like an adult. But when you talk around a subject, I'm just going to assume you don't know what you're talking about. And I've had a lot of conversations with like VPs at the company being like, unless you were telling an employee something directly, I think it's really impossible for you to assume people are going to get this. He's like, well, here in this culture, we really feel this. I'm like, that's fine. Needs you to be direct. Brad, you got a quiz for us, by the way?
I do have a quiz if you guys want to go head to head on an art or not art quiz.
Oh, I would love this.
God.
I would love
Fine.
this.
I'll pull it up. Hold on, let's see.
You knew what you were doing.
All right. Share my screen here. All right. So these are all going to be either art or not art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
This is art.
Kind of shovel.
This is art.
Not art. Is it the picture of a shovel, or is it is it a shovel? Like,
It's
It's
what
an
am I
actual
looking
shovel. It's an
I believe
actual
it's an
shovel.
actual
It's
shovel.
an actual
at?
shovel.
Okay, no, not art.
Not so. Kellen says art.
Yes.
Caroline says not art. It is art.
Ugh.
That is Duchamp.
Wait, I'm sorry. You mean subjectively or literally?
This is
No, literally,
literally. It's a
that is
piece
a
of
found-
art or not.
It's a found object
damn
from
it.
Marcel Duchamp.
They
yes.
all are. Is
Yes.
the answer.
But what about this?
This is art. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Art? Both of you? Okay.
Okay.
It is.
I was gonna say, yeah. Not
Skateboard?
art. Not art.
I really want to say not art. I don't
Not
like
art?
it.
You're both right.
This is art.
This isn't a quiz. I'm just gonna agree with Kellen.
And so you both say
I'm gonna
art.
say
then?
not art. No,
Not
I
art,
think that's
okay.
just a light.
Oh,
Mhm.
Kellen is right. It is art.
This is art. This is art.
Those look like shelves.
They
No.
do look
It
like
can be
shells,
both.
Caroline. They
No.
do look like shells.
So not art or art?
No.
No. Okay.
Yes. Oh.
Art.
They're fucking shelves, Kellen.
I'm gonna say this is art.
Sure, art, yeah.
This is art.
Art. Yeah.
This is art.
Yeah, it's art. God damn it.
Yep. So far, we're at Kellen
Yes.
has 6 and Caroline has 5 points.
I'm saying yes.
I'm gonna say no.
Damn.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
This is yes.
It looks like a towel.
It does.
I'm gonna say no because of the wrinkles.
Oh, it
Damn.
is.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
Kind of a little bit obvious where the placement of it is, but yeah.
Ooh,
What do you
no,
think?
No.
No?
no.
Is.
Damn. How would anyone know?
Yeah.
This is yes.
This
is
looks
yes.
like yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
This is no.
Is.
Said not
no.
art.
It's not.
art.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
No.
a battery. What do you think, Kellen?
No. Definitely not art.
No. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I've seen that
Yeah.
or seen
Mhm.
something like that. No, god damn it. It better not be. I swear to God. That's I'm
It better not
manifesting.
be.
I'm manifesting. It better not fucking be.
I'll take a risk. I'm gonna say art here.
Fucking hate these things.
Oh.
Yes. Fuck you.
Closing
No.
the gap, 12
No.
to 10.
No. Not art here.
I'm saying yes because of the backdrop. Damn.
Not art.
God damn it.
Yes. I'm gonna say this is
Yeah,
art.
there's like a swinging thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally a pendulum. Is
Do we
this
consider the Declaration of Independence
is
art?
this yeah, is this
I-
a commentary
it's
on the
a piece of
Declaration, or
writing.
are we asking is it a piece of art based on the Declaration of Independence?
I'm gonna say art.
No.
Yes.
Not art.
This is yes.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. So Kellen got it 15 to 13.
Damn.
So close. So close.
I wasn't gonna win that. That's fine. I knew it was I know what the score is. Wait, no, I want to watch that TikTok. It's so funny. Hold on.
Great. Let's watch a TikTok.
Hold on, let me find it. It's just I've got it stuck in my head. It's so bad. Damn. I thought if I searched for it, it would do well. It would come up. But it's not coming up. Do something else. I'll find it.
Here's a question for you all.
What's up?
Am I the asshole? So, I, male, 27, and my sister-in-law have always gotten along great. She gets my sense of humor. She gets my jokes. It's good. My brother is the opposite. He takes everything super seriously and is a bit of a buzzkill. I have dinner at their place a fair amount, always inviting me to stay for supper. I don't just invite myself.
Very specific. Okay.
Anyways, one of the pranks I like to pull is pretending to ruin my sister-in-law's food when she's cooking. She's a huge foodie and makes great stuff, so I never actually would, but I'll go in there and pretend I'm just about to dump a bunch of milk in a pot or whatever, or like I'm just about to walk off with a full dish and eat it. It's all in jest. There's no issue.
That's so funny. That's so funny. What a funny joke.
What a funny joke.
Mm.
He's a buzzkill. This is classic. Since she's been pregnant, it's been even funnier because she can't have lots of things. So I'll joke like, oh man, this is going to be so good with the vodka I just dumped in it. And it's funny. Well, last week my brother decided to do his usual stick in the mud thing, and he completely dressed me down over it and said, I never do shit, so it's not even a prank. It's just stupid, annoying sentence or gesture that isn't funny. So obviously, challenge accepted. I'm not stupid and wouldn't put the baby at risk. So I Googled all the things she's avoiding. Easy to do because my mom asked her for a list of Xmas on it, a list for Xmas dinner in the group chat. So I thought, and some I thought were making her sick, like salami. She actually can't have for like pregnant safety reasons. So I was careful to research everything, and the most harmless thing on there was grapefruit. The way sister-in-law was describing her aversions, I figured a small amount of would, at the worst, just make her gag. So, sure enough, I sneak a little juice into the salsa and figured it wouldn't actually ruin it since salsa has citrus. It's a goof. I made a goof.
Did it out of goof.
Well, I reveal my prank and my brother loses it. Apparently, she's on BP medication, and that's why she can't have grapefruit. I said it was only a bit, and she tried to reassure it was probably okay. She did go call a doctor, which I felt bad, though, and he kicked me out of their house and told me how they are both sick of my shit and not welcome at dinner anymore. Sister-in-law hasn't responded to my text, and my brother won't either. It was honest. It was an honest mistake, and I just feel one mess-up shouldn't warrant this much anger. Am I missing something, or is this a crazy overreaction?
He did it out of goof.
Guys, it was a goof.
It was
a goof.
You guys.
Guys, it was funny.
If you have to reiterate how funny it is.
Guys, it was funny.
Pretty rough.
It was good. It was a goof.
It's not a great sign. Like, trust me, it was funny.
My brother is a bit of a buzzkill.
Sure.
I'm hilarious. I don't know why she's married to him. Why isn't she married to me? Not that I worry about that.
Yeah,
this is what I mean, where I'm like, the problem with I am the asshole is that there's never really a debate.
Right.
So clear. So
let's judge everyone here. We were looking at a little drama. We've got three characters. We've got brother, we've got sister-in-law, we've got the author. It's clear author
sister-in-law is fine.
Sister-in-law
she do shit.
Well,
she's fine.
Let's look at this though.
maybe
sister-in-law
enabling
fine?
him, depending on
exactly, Brad.
her actual attitude. We're getting a
No,
very
so
specific
but this
perspective.
is she's
so it's
not
hard to say.
enabling. She's
Okay.
trying to placate.
So she's a people pleaser?
Yes, she is
Sure.
clearly not. I don't believe for a second that when he says she's cool
Right.
with it and whatever, what's happening is he's doing shitty things and she's trying to just be like, yeah, no, it's fine. Please don't do that though.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm picturing. That she doesn't want to be the person telling, like, even if he agrees, even if husband agrees, she probably hates the idea that she would be central to a reason why they wouldn't be speaking. So for her, it's like, that to me is telltale. Like, I'm just trying to exist in a way that, like, where I'm okay. Like, I picture just like the same way you tell a kid, like, who accidentally stabs you or something, like, it's okay, you didn't mean to. Like, they don't mean to. My son hard headbutts me in the nose.
Common. Very,
my
very
son
common.
hard slammed his head into my nose. Like, I was just, and it's like, no, you're fine. I know you didn't, you know. So I'm like losing my shit. So like, I lost my train of thought. But point
again, the second sentence is, she gets my sense of humor. She gets my jokes. It's good. The punctuation in this, that is one sentence, no commas.
You said it's good, period?
Yeah, yes. She gets my sense of humor. She gets my jokes. It's good. No commas.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
He's laid back.
Seems very believable.
Why you gotta be so uptight?
Why you gotta be so uptight? Now, brother.
Such a bust.
Is brother... I think brother is not without sin. Brother's got some issues.
It's hard to tell because he doesn't talk much about his relationship, like
no,
with the brother. Does he say if the brother's older or younger? It should say
no. It's never mentioned the relationship. We also have mom. Mom is somewhat in here because mom asked about it.
I mean, not terrible advice.
I mean,
okay, but like, yeah, okay, so it all sucks and we're all gonna die. Like, you can't be like that when there's fun, petty drama. Like you gotta.
I will say this story would be a lot more interesting with dogs. Dogs pulling pranks on each other. This story would be great. This would be American Funny Videos.
Yeah, if it was like real dogs, you mean
real
like
dogs? Oh, 100% real dogs.
Yeah, not like cats and dogs. The fucking Tobey Maguire dog we're running around. No, none of that.
No. Definitely not Captain Dog, Tobey Maguire dog, whatever that is.
Yeah, no. I don't remember the name, okay? But it was Tobey Maguire voiced. I think it was a puppy. I don't know. I think there were a couple of them.
No idea. Now I kind of need to know, though.
It's like some sort of animated film. I could be just in space. That could also be an option. But I feel like that's a real thing that I remember existing in the world.
Okay, yeah. He was a voice of one of the dogs in the movie called Cats and Dogs.
Cats and Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Memory? Hell yeah. Nice.
So we're all saying they're all bad. I got another one for us. And I think this one is interesting because the title kind of gives it away.
Okay.
Does
it use the word females?
No, but I love it when people refer to women as females. It's always great.
Sure.
We're going to cut that for later.
Yeah.
What's going on TikTok?
Brad and I have a friend of the show, Mitra, who refers to all women as females, and it always is like, huh.
Friend, you said?
She's great. She's wonderful. It's just funny when it's like when I hear a woman say that. When I hear a woman use terms like that, I'm like, what?
Is she masked?
Could be. Okay. Am I the asshole for betraying everyone in my family? ...
Gonna need a little more details on that, I think.
You're a dramatic 13-year-old, and this is a lie. That's what that just told me.
It feels this way. Yeah. Well, ... My aunt left the family due to them being overly controlling on her pro-vax beliefs and witchcraft due to it opposing their Christianity and other beliefs. My aunt has only been in touch with me, and she vents to me about all of her problems, and I try to comfort her. My family told me to tell them I was in touch with her, though I was scared of getting scolded if I lied. So I did. ... At first. My family has been pushing me to push their vaccine beliefs on her. So I did at first because I felt pressured if I didn't. But over time, me and her talked more and more, and I felt comfortable around her, right? This is twisting. You think you understand this, and you're like, wait a second, what? Okay. She said I could tell her anything if I opened up to her. I've told my aunt my true beliefs, and I told her that I want to get vaccinated, which was against what my family wanted. And my family is aware I'm in touch with her, which is against what she wanted, even though I had no choice but to tell them, since my grandma digs through my phone. But anyways, if I told my aunt that, I'd be at risk of her telling my family what I did due to me unintentionally betraying her. I don't think she would do that, but I have to be cautious, because if they found out what I told her when I gave her my true feelings about all of this, I'm sure hell would break loose upon the whole family. My grandma hasn't yet, though I told my aunt this, and I'm scared if she does. Again, a classic English phrase. My grandma hasn't yet, though I told my aunt this, and I'm scared if she does.
All of this tracks to being a 13-year-old.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I stand by
Absolutely.
my
This is a child.
This is a child.
Yeah,
yes.
This is absolutely a child.
Is this my fault for telling my aunt my honest thought and causing potential trauma? I don't want to get in trouble. ... Can someone tell me if I'm the one who started this, and if I should own my own sins?
Yikes.
Yikes.
Girl.
Well, that's a child.
That's
so
a child.
Yeah.
Hard to put a ton of blame on
With
this
some
random
level
child.
of religious trauma?
Seems highly religious trauma induced.
That's sad. That was awful.
That's more I'm a sad child that needs help.
I mean,
more
I
than I'm an
literally
asshole.
like the clickbaity title is also very like, please someone talk to me.
I will say
That's what makes me sad.
there are hundreds of posts on this account that are all over the place. There's lots of "Am I the assholes?"
Like as OP?
As original posts, and all of them seem very I don't know, almost clickbaity. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Promiscuous, yeah, I don't know. And then we have a question like, hey, will my PS5 freeze in the negative 22-degree weather in my car?
Okay, so older teenager.
Yeah.
But
very strange.
Yeah.
And also, yes, probably.
Yeah. So is this person the asshole?
This person's sad and probably very lonely. And I don't mean that in any kind of mocking way. I'm really sad for them.
That sounds like they're in a rough position, but they're a 12-year-old. So
sounds like they need something. Like it's either attention or it's validation or, some combination of those things, or just stimulation even. Like they might just not be getting, they're not getting what they need. So they're going to the internet.
They need the internet to justify.
Yeah. Whether that's like a dramatically written, thing, or from like an older teen who's just like, oh yeah, this, or whether the concern that they feel that they're expressing, whether that's based on like real events, because that could also be a thing. Like sometimes things feel differently to teenagers, right? Something that's not a big deal to you or I could be just, and think back when we were kids, like, you never understand that frustration. So it could be a situation where that's how they're interpreting a situation that maybe the adults involved are not aware that it's at that height in their minds, if that makes sense.
There is something about the way that it's written that makes me empathize with a child. Like there is something about this sort of frenetic nature of the way that's written in terms of like it's bouncing around and be like, hey, like let's just be cool. Like let's listen to some music and just like, hey, have you watched Naruto yet? Because like Naruto, he's got his ninja way, and maybe that's what you need right now. I got one more for you.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for supposedly making my friends homeless, even though I don't think I did?
Okay, let's start there.
Okay, so this story is from a few days ago about me, male 18, and my ex-girlfriend, female 18, but it's not a romantic conflict. My ex and I broke up a few months ago because she came out to me as bi, and I don't want to date anyone who isn't straight like me.
Yikes.
Am I the asshole? Yes.
So far, yes.
So far, yes. Some people might say I'm TA, but it's my preference and not the point of this question. Again, why did you bring it up? Even though we broke up, we stayed friends. I kept texting and calling stuff after I dumped her because even though I don't want to date her anymore, I'm still cool. And eventually, she got over the breakup, and even though she was a little cold to me at first. Again, why? Why? I went round to hang out with her the other day, and her mom was there, and she said it was good that that she had come around to being my friend, even though it was a shame we weren't compatible enough to date. Apparently, that's what my GF told her because she's not out to her parents. I really like her mom, and she felt uncomfortable lying to her, so I told her the truth. I dumped my ex-girlfriend because she's bi. Ex-girlfriend's mom went quiet and then asked me to step out so she could have a conversation with her daughter. I stepped out. I didn't hear anything bad, like shouting or anything, but 15 minutes later, my ex slammed the door open and came out with a rush sack. She screamed at me, asking if I was happy, and she just wanted me to leave her alone, but I wouldn't take the hint. There was no hints. And now her mom kicked her out because I outed her. She wouldn't listen when I tried to explain that I just told the truth and that if she shouldn't have expected me to lie. She did say that she wasn't lying. She didn't think she was compatible with a homophobic jerk like me, that I was the reason she was now homeless while trying to finish school. She took off after that, walking to what I guess is her friend's house, but she threatened to call the cops when I tried to follow her. So I don't know. I don't think the TA, because it's not like I threw her out, and it's not my fault her parents don't like the fact that she's bi. Maybe I am because I shouldn't have said anything, which is what her friends told me when I saw them at school today. She's not been here for the last couple of days. But if she wanted me to cover for her, then she should have told me that. And we could have come up with something to tell her mom. I don't think it's fair for her to just expect me to know automatically to lie about why I dumped her. So, am I the asshole?
Tell us what you think, Kellen.
Yeah. No, this guy sucks. This guy, like, there's nothing redeeming with this guy. This guy's a piece of human garbage.
That reads so cartoonishly to me that I imagine it has to be fiction. Because writing that story from that perspective and not thinking you're the asshole would be a very strange thing.
Yeah, I mean that's the issue I guess I have with some of the Am I the Asshole, especially on Reddit, is it's like it feels so contrived.
Yeah.
You feel, and like some of this, like specifically, I'm like, yeah, this is an 18-year-old who thinks this is like salacious, and I'm like, God Lord, man, grow up. Like again, the characters, all of it, none of it works.
Yeah.
None of it
I mean,
works.
if that happened, yes, they're the asshole.
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Craziness.
Yeah, absolutely.
That can be a little tricky.
Yeah.
With the Am I the Asshole ones. That's why I'm more inclined to read the ones that make it to Facebook. Because if they make it to Facebook, that means that there's probably like a Bored Panda article that they're part of. No, but that's good because that means it was interesting enough to get an article.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like my vetting process.
Yeah.
Would you guys perhaps like to watch an ancient Canadian commercial?
I would love to, Brad.
It's nighttime in a kitchen just like yours. All is quiet. Or is it? The North American house hippo is found throughout Canada and the eastern United States. House hippos are very timid creatures and are rarely seen, but they will defend their territory if provoked. They come out at night to search for food, water, and materials for their nests. The favorite foods of the house hippo are chips, raisins, and the crumbs from peanut butter on toast. They build their nests in bedroom closets, using lost mittens, dryer lint, and bits of string. The nests have to be very soft and warm. House hippos sleep about 16 hours a day.
That looked really real, but you knew it couldn't be true, didn't you? That's why it's good to think about what you're watching on TV and ask questions, kind of like you just did. A message from Concerned Children's Advertisers.
What the fuck, Brad?
There was a whole bunch of those, like all through like the early 90s.
I was gonna say, is this a 90s PSA?
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah.
Oh my god, I did not remember that. Those were adorable.
Right?
I want a
They
house
were
hippo
so
so
cute.
much.
Yeah,
I
we
know
all
that they
do.
kill so many people. But
There's
I
a whole
was-
generation of
It
Canadians that are
killed
still
my
pissed that they're not real.
friendships.
Like, I need a house hippo.
So cute.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Old commercials.
That was cool.
No nonsense.
Wow, Brad.
What? These, we're getting some interesting comments now.
Mm.
That's, okay.
Oh, interesting. I don't
Big Mike.
collect it.
Big Mike. Interesting, Big Mike. Tell us more.
Well, he's blocked now. Who did that? Brad. God.
Brad,
Mike
you
had
should
something to
come
say.
on.
Mike had something to say. One of my exes is named Mike, so and he does have 2 kids and one on the way.
Congratulations,
Wow.
Mike.
Oh, Mike. Oh, Kellen.
Yes.
I also, today happens to be 6 months since Caroline joined us on the stream for the first
Brad.
time.
Congratulations.
Almost to the day. And also that means it's been 6 months since you promised that we would do a reading of your ridiculous John McAfee time travel script.
Oh,
That we still have not done.
Oh.
We still need to do that.
I would love that.
Okay. I can dust it off. There are I mean I'm gonna need y'all to read. I mean, are you guys interested in reading and doing that? I mean, that's
absolutely
6 months. Wow. Time fucking
right.
flies.
Time is simultaneously stopped and also going way too fast. It makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Can you believe it's the last week of January? Like, I know that's such an old person thing to say, but I'm like,
I
January's
cannot.
already over? January's
It doesn't. No, so January's over next week because that's when I get paid.
Oh, okay. I already got paid, so January's over. So.
No, god damn it. Oh,
So yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
We will.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is time isn't a construct though. It's like a thing, right?
It's a thing that you can or cannot pay attention to, you know.
Yep.
But not like in physics, you have to. I feel like I
mean,
think you can discount time.
In physics, in music, I mean, time is important to most observable phenomena, right?
I believe so. The real question is a parsec a unit of distance or time?
Why can't it be both?
Because that's fucking weird.
I mean, it's we're also
linguistically a bad decision.
Linguistically, it's complicated.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
say we're going to use these two things for two very similar things used in the same. You're going to have to know which context, and the context is how many parsecs did you do? It's like,
I mean, sounds like a typical American thing to me. I mean, anything but the metric system, right?
and freedoms per eagle, Brad.
Well, this has been good.
This has been wonderful.
The reason, the answer to is a parsec a unit of distance or time is George Lucas is a bad writer.
Yes.
There is that.
That is the answer.
There is that.
The fact that man could have walked away from everything because of THC, TCH, something. The sound one. Which, there we go.
I don't think it's THC.
No, that's just
classic learning channel.
The sound thing. He could have just like fucked off, and
I mean, he could have done it with ILM. He could have done it so many times.
No, you will have more of it. Why? Just to be in the news? Just to get trophies or something? Just to have something to do? Like, you don't need this. Why? Don't tell me anything about artistry or anything. Fuck you. I know you don't give a shit, and he didn't. He clearly had, like, it was either monetary or something else, because he did not give a fuck about those movies.
No.
He just, like, sat in his chair and, like, watched people in front of a green screen and did shot for shot. That's it. So, why?
I mean, Caroline, that's for another episode.
We should have that fight next time or some other time for sure. That'll be a good fight. Yeah, right. We'll find someone that's pro George Lucas. I'm sure there's got to be at least one person.
Oh yes. Well, I mean, I think the trial of George Lucas, like, is George Lucas, do we judge him for his sins? Do we thank him for his contributions? Like, is he a terrible person or is he a evil genius? Like, there's so many different ways in terms of being able to approach Lucas in general.
I'm starting to realize that the reason you think Stephen King has no prose is because you speak with prose.
Of course I do. Of course. Please.
Your bar is like way weird.
I'm like, Stephen.
Speak better than like you.
Kellen has all the best words.
I try.
Such good words.
Thank you. Give me a job in advertising. I can use my words.
Yeah, I don't know why you're on the back end. If I'm frank, you should be a creative.
Please give me a job in creative. I would love to be in creative. I would love that. Please. Anyways, this has been fun as always, y'all.
Yeah,
this is a great blast.
And maybe we won't wait 3 weeks before the next one.
Maybe
we will. Who knows?
Maybe we will.
Look, the anticipation is part of the product.
It's true. See you next time, everybody, whenever that is.
Bye-bye. Bye.